Good morning, everyone. Thanks for coming through. So, obviously, if you're new or, you've been here, you obviously know how, this works. But just to give you a little bit more of a rundown, obviously these leads are coming through your Google ads. When people type homes on like, home for sale in Oshawa or Whitby or whichever, you'll be one of the first ones that pop up depending on your budget, obviously, right? So, really good tool because you're catching a lot of people in the information stage. And this is where if you build the right relationship, this is where the magic happens, and people will just reach out to you when you're ready. I actually had one person that I showcased, I think 8 months ago, and he just hit me up now. Hey Nick, I saw another property. Can we go see it? So, relationships go a far way, and sometimes you feel that like, I'm messaging these leads, they're not responding to me. Like, why is that happening? Or, how come they're not responding to me? Sometimes people like are living their own life, and sometimes as you continue to prospect a month, 2 months, 3 months, whichever, sometimes these people come back. Remember, I don't take a not answer. Like I take it as a not yet because they haven't told you no. They haven't told you not interested. They just didn't respond to you. So you're just feeling like they're giving you the cold shoulder. But like, I mean, honestly, I forget to respond to people too, right? So it is what it is, and maybe they're a little bit more further in their search. But just stay in touch with
Mhm.
people.
Yeah.
I'll show you some tricks that I've been using and my team's been using that has been working to convert more leads, to get out there and write offers. So, but going forward is, obviously these leads come in, they're coming onto your website and browsing homes, after a few visits, they have to, you were capturing their contact info, right? And then that's where they come into your database. So it's really, really important to know a script. And I feel like that's where 90% of agents fail right away, maybe even higher. Because, a lot of people just think that, hey, I'm going to call them. Hey, are you looking to buy and sell? Hey, whichever. Like these scripts don't work. And if you want to be successful, especially prospecting, you're calling people that they don't know you. And like, you have to vibe with them. You have to have a script. You have to make them feel comfortable in order to get further with these leads, right? And, it may feel hard at first, but if you can adopt online leads as one of your main lead gens, like I have, it is so rewarding. And I mean, you're making more GCI, which is life changing as well, too, right? And you're building your database and your funnel. So I'll also go on like, what I do in my database, how I divide it up, and, all these kind of stuff. So before I get into a few things, is there any questions anyone has before I get into, asking about scripts and, hearing your guys' scripts? No, you're all good.
Mm.
So, okay. So going forward is obviously the most important part is having the right mindset. Obviously, like, prospecting is hard. We feel like, it's such a resistant thing, but it's just like working out. Obviously, you start at like the 5, 10, 15 pounds, you do it, the first couple reps hurt, you do your set, you come back consistently in the like next 2, 3 weeks, you're now raising your tolerance, right? So you're getting stronger. So that's the same way. I feel that once you start winning on leads, you start finding it fun because I find it fun. Like it's obviously hard when you don't do it for a while, but when you come back, hardest resistance. But when you get back into the groove, like this is really fun because man, like you're at home calling or at the office, so you don't really have to do anything. If you have a fire script, you're going to get through these calls. So before I kind of go through what I say to my script or how I open the door for conversations, I love to hear someone's script here, and I will come in as a lead. And then, remember this is a safe space anyways. I just want to make sure that you guys are well equipped and that you're calling these leads with the best way possible and the best chances. So either if someone wants to come up or I'm going to pick someone random. You don't want my random pick.
Say it's asking what script and dialogue you have used and successful. Converting
Yeah. I feel like every
TR and expired. So it's terminated and expired listings.
Yeah, so that's a little different. Obviously, like we have a strategy for that, but we deliver something to the house for people that are expired. And we have another script for that. But I can go over that afterwards, because I don't want to get off topic with Agent Locator and learning a little bit more here. So we can use that at the end of the class and I can tell you a little bit more. But what someone love I would love to hear, someone calling one of their leads, aka me, and just seeing what the conversation says or how you open it, because this is a really great opportunity to really learn and get coached from your scripts, because this is one of the reasons why Agent Locator is not might not be be as successful as you want it to be because it comes down
Mm.
to scripting.
It's knowing what to say,
Yeah,
knowing what to say to these individuals.
yeah, exactly. I'm gonna just pick someone in
So
the next
Kevin's
slide.
going to, so allow Kevin to talk.
Let's go, Kevin.
I'll be brave.
There you go.
Attaboy. Attaboy. Don't worry, I'll go easy.
Okay, good.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being brave. So basically, obviously, I'm going to be the lead, that kind of answers your call, right? And kind of go from there. So I'd love to hear what you would say, and I'd love to help you in any way, or maybe you're teaching me something today.
Maybe I will. I don't know.
Exactly. That'd be awesome. So,
Okay.
right. So, hello.
Hey, Nick, how are you?
Good. How you doing?
Good, good. It's Kevin. I'm just calling just to follow up. I see you're online a couple days ago, and I'm just following up to see if there's anything I can help you out with. I see you're looking for a property in the Toronto area.
Okay. Yeah. So I was just online. I was just kind of browsing. I had to it just captured my email after looking for a little bit, so I just entered that. But yeah, I was just looking in Toronto.
Okay, so what sparked you to look around in Toronto? Is there something specific you're looking for?
Yeah, so not too sure yet. I'm just kind of seeing what's out there, looking to possibly make a move. And I'm just kind of seeing where prices are because obviously, prices fallen.
Okay, no, hey, I get that. I get that. When if something were to pop up and you really liked it, would it be something you would be considering to make a move on?
Yeah, but I'm just like super early. I just kind of want to find out what's out there.
Okay, no, no, that's fine. Maybe if I possibly go over maybe things that you're looking for, I can certainly send you handpicked listings if that would be something you'd be interested in.
Yeah, yeah, no problem. So I'm going to stop right there, Kevin. So everyone
Yep.
give a round for Kevin. Kevin crushed it. There would be few adjustments that I would do. You had the right direction. Obviously coming up here is kind of scary. So that's totally cool.
Mhm.
But you had the right direction. And I feel like with a little bit of tweaking your scripts, I feel that you can go much further. I love the way that obviously like went into the conversation, saw that you were looking on the list, kind of going from there. I feel that once I was kind of asking or letting you know where I was, you were asking the right questions, but I feel like it kind of fizzled a little bit. But it was good. Like, dude, you got through the conversation, right? At the end of the day, you got me to answer the questions and so forth. But here's a few tweaks that I would do. So can I role play with you, Kevin, if that's cool?
Sure.
Okay, cool. So, hello.
Hi.
Hey, Kevin, how are you?
Good, good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. It's actually just Nick Moretti calling. Are you living the dream too?
I'm trying to in this snow.
I know, right? I've been shoveling 5 times today. So, uh,
Only five. Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I didn't get hit that bad, but I hope you've been doing well. Hey, Kevin, I just wanted to reach out actually just to thank you so much for viewing homes on our website on MorettiRealEstate.com. And
Hmm.
I mean, I just want to just, call you as a customer service role. I see that you were looking at homes in, Whitby, let's say. So I see that you're looking at homes in Whitby. Are you only considering Whitby or would you consider other areas as well?
Would be possibly Clarington area.
Cool, awesome. Would you consider Oshawa or Pickering Ajax or not really?
Not really. Not really. No.
Awesome. So I see that you were looking for like kind of detached homes anywhere between 4 to 6 bedrooms. Are you looking in between those bedrooms? Is there a certain amount of bedrooms, bathrooms you were looking for?
Three bedrooms, two bath, maybe two and a half bath.
Okay, awesome, awesome. So is there any other features that you're thinking to have in your next house? Like, did you want a
Finish
rental car? Did you want more upgraded space? Did you want more fixed up, cosmetically?
a little more fixed up, but I would like actually a finished basement with a walkout. That would
Okay, awesome.
so potentially for rentals.
Totally. That's an amazing opportunity. So, another opportunity too, if you would consider, because Whitby has some good opportunity and prices has fallen a bit. Clarington has still been doing well, but Oshawa has a lot of, I find that they have a lot more of those opportunities there, and I feel that you can get more of a discounted price. So if we were in the right neighborhoods and it had the right finishings, and the right stats for you, do you think it's something that you would consider?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, perfect. So I'm going to just stop it right there. Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, the difference is more so like shocking them by like, hey, thank you. Like I'm calling to
Hmm.
say, like, okay, who's thanking me?
Right.
So I always lead with authenticity. I always say, living the dream. I feel like it's a quick little, little laugh, break the ice, and then you kind of get right into it, right? If you notice, I didn't even really ask about why they're moving, motivation, or anything yet, because I find that when we do that right away, the lead is kind of backed up a little bit. Not all leads, obviously, but some people
Hmm.
are. And I find that you will like, they're going to find like it's more of a sales call. So I always like to position this kind of like a customer service call and just kind of brushing up your criteria to showcase more
Okay.
that you're looking for. And with Agent Locator, if you don't know, you can obviously see homes where they're at. And that's what I loved what you did, Kevin. Hey, I saw that you were looking at homes in Toronto, right? Like, great job. Because now we get to see what they were looking for. So this one lead essentially, is looking at a few different listings and how many times and all that. So before you
Hmm.
call the lead, like these are items of value, right? People are going to give you time when you give them something of value and you're giving them an information guidance and possibly, a new client that you can send listings to and, continue to build that relationship. But when you're talking about certain things that they hear, they're going to start opening up. And then once they start opening up, and if you saw that, like, how many bedrooms are you looking for? Would you consider other areas? And it's really good to know your market stats because you were asking about basement apartments. So,
Hmm.
obviously Pickering Ajax doesn't have as many I find in this marketplace. I find that Oshawa has a lot more. So letting them know that prices have fallen a little bit more in a certain community. Prices are kind of stabilized here, but there's more opportunities in another one. That one there,
Right.
like doing opportunities like this shows that like you're already the leader and you're already the professional. And I feel like their confidence is now like super high in you and now they want to know more because most people who are calling them are not chatting with them like I am at this conversation.
Right. So
So
now, would you suggest even trying to speak to them to get a little more rapport as opposed to just diving right into what they're actually looking for? Or I suppose if that presents itself.
yeah, so this is what it is. Really, it's a warm call, right? Like,
Yeah.
so for me, it's like I'm catching someone off guard. The longer you actually start talking, the I feel like you only have like 5 seconds to really make an impact on that call, whether they're going to actually talk to
Right.
you or not. So I
Right.
always come in with, kind of like, I don't even say, hey, I'm Nick Moretti right away, right? Like I always just kind of vibe with them first for the first 5 seconds. Once
Hmm.
they kind of like are okay with, talking to me, then I start going into, hey, I'm Nick Moretti. Just want to thank you for browsing homes on our website on MorettiRealEstate.com. I say that because people always ask me when I didn't say that, where did you come on? So I kind of say it just so they see it. And I go, and I find that at that point, if they're like, uh-huh, okay, perfect, then I just get right into it because it's not about making the small talk. It's about just finding this conversation, being friendly, asking
Yep.
questions, facilitating what they're looking for. And now you're sending them items of value because you know what they're looking for. You're updating that criteria. And now you're sending a general list, maybe with a handpicked list later on, right? So,
Right.
those are great ways on how to do that because once you know what they're asking and looking for and they're talking more in that middle to end of that conversation, now it's a perfect conversation to be like, hey, well, just curious, do you have to sell before you buy or do you just have to buy? Because now you're going to fish for the listing.
Right. Right.
Right.
For
So
sure.
then the listing conversation goes, hey, hey, I totally understand that you're looking to purchase, which is amazing. But obviously, with you having a house, you have a little bit of a different equation. Obviously, you want to sell high, you want to get the best price and you want to get the best house with, the best competitive price, right? So,
Right.
there's a few things that, real estate's not just a one size fits all. There's a lot of, every family goes through different scenarios and every route looks different for everyone to be
Yeah.
successful. So
Yeah.
I
No.
feel that, if you're open to it, let me come by, take a tour of your house. I'll show you what market stats are. I'll show you what comps are doing, and then I can give you a full valuation of how much the market will be paying for you, or paying for sorry, how much your house would be worth and what our vendors can do to get net you a little bit more money.
Right.
So this way it's super important to know your real estate equation. What is your real estate equation? It's how much you can sell for and then what does that leave you to buy. So you kind of need to know this information because if you see a property you like and you're all gun-ho about it, this is still one of the steps that we need to do in order to have like a successful offer because we have to make sure you're successful, right? And
Right.
make
To
sure
move
that you're
forward. Right.
exactly right. So this is a great first information preparation steps so we can start building the process as you're looking through, so that when you do find something, you're confident and you know where we're going to land and we can lock down that house.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
No, makes
that's
sense.
kind of my script, right? Super, like, being super honest, super, like, being myself, right? Talking the way that I talk and
Hmm.
just getting right to the point.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that makes sense. Absolutely.
But Kevin, you crushed it.
No. Okay.
So
Thank you.
I would just lead by, instead of asking if you're buying or not, I would just go, hey, I saw that you were looking, like, I'm just calling as a customer service role. I just want to send you, homes that you do want to see because inventory is rising and I would hate for you to miss out. So I
So,
see that you were looking at homes in Whitby. Would you consider Whitby? Are you only looking at Whitby, or would you consider other areas? Get them
mhm.
talking, right? Then once you do that, ask, are you only looking for 3, 4 bedrooms, or are you looking for, what's your ideal house that you're looking for? Okay, cool. Do you want a single car? Do you want a double car garage? Do you want that open concept traditional? You're doing these questions to show that you're really listening and you're really trying to help solve a problem of theirs. And they're going to keep opening up. And the more they open up, that more trust builds. And the more that trust builds, that's called like building a relationship. So
Yeah.
they're going to feel
And,
comfortable now that if they have a question, they're coming to you. If they see a property, they're coming to you. So that's what you want to do. You want to just mine relationships. Yes, of course, you're looking at getting a deal done today, but truthfully, that doesn't happen all the time. You might hit, the 1% sometimes from here to here, but the goal of this is to build relationships. And the goal that I tell my team every day, and our goal for our CRM is, our goal is to get as many people using our website actively to view homes, because the
right.
more active they are, the closer they are to their, to get to there, whether it's, us representing them or they're already represented, or, whatever stage they're in. But that's what we want, because the more that they're engaged, the more opportunity. That means I'm sending them things of value and communicating with them, right? And then when they see the right property, they're going to just hit me up.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. And I guess the more you get them talking, the more interested and more engaged they are in the conversation.
100%.
Yeah.
Think about like when you have a good conversation with your friends or family member. Think about like when you guys are just in sync, having a good conversation, laughing, asking questions, and all that. In that flow, you want to get to that flow,
Hmm.
because that means like highest trust in my eyes. Like it's like we're friends. Like you trust me, I'm not full of shit. I'm gonna lead you. I have the right mentality. So let me help you, right? People want to be helped. The hardest part that I find is with real estate agents, we have a bad rep because there's been so many people in the past that ruin it, just like doctors, lawyers, whatever it is, right? But
Hmm.
what's really rewarding is when we all have that one clients or clients that we do help where they're like super stuck and you got them out of that. And then they're just so happy, and you're just helping people, right? Like
Yeah.
you're removing that stigma, or at least the people that are working with you see that value, right? And I feel that
Hmm.
good agents, people value that, and the agents that don't really know what they're doing and they feel like they're just kind of selling them, that's where a lot of agents are grouped in. So you're kind of working up this uphill battle when you're first prospecting. But as long as you get confident, as long as you have a good script, and as long as you're willing to help in the right mindset, there's no way that you won't get these leads to convert.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
we've already converted, I think 3 or 4 of these already this year with my team, and it's only the
Nice.
28th. So, people are out there. A lot of people are looking. I can share one of my phone calls a little bit later. But yeah, so I think, Kevin, great job. Is there any question that you have, or any other objections maybe that, you were thinking or have been hearing, or anybody else, if they have someone, I would love to, help everyone. Like we're all here to help each other.
Um, I'm just trying to think here. I can't think of anything offhand. I can certainly let you know if I do think of something. It's just trying to get over that fence, to trying to get them to. And I know it's beginning of the year. It's January. It's nobody's really interested. However, I do have a lot of people looking and kicking
But like,
tires, but they're just
but hold on, Kevin. Let me step back here. I think that's a mindset, because man, people are ready to make deals. Like I've already done a couple deals this year, and it's only
right.
been like the 28th. My team's already doing things. I think that
Yep.
like people are out there doing deals, and it's about where are you finding them in that process.
Right.
So, and it's like, all you want to do is just build relationships. So that the difference from like a sales job to being like a professional, like whether lawyer, doctor, real estate agent, is now you're just really mining. Like people, once they know Kevin comes up, they know that you're the real estate agent. So you're subconsciously already the real estate agent that I know. So whenever I see your name up, I know that I don't have to talk about real estate with you because like you're real estate, you're the real estate person, right? So
Mhm.
you want to just have that, you just want to build relationships with people because when they're ready or when they know someone that's ready, they're going to just send them to you,
Right. Right.
right? So,
Yeah.
so I think what the real takeaway is your goal is to connect with these leads that come in here and send them homes or stats, not stats, but criterias that they want to see.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
and that's all, you know.
And that's how I try to set them up because I just tell the leads, I said, I don't want to send you a bunch of homes that you're not going to be interested in.
Yeah.
So and it just makes more sense. And I don't want to waste your time, nor I want to waste my time. I want to be
Oh,
as
hold on.
efficient.
Those are great things, but I think it's like saying, like changing the wording. Like, for example, like, instead of saying you're wasting my time or your time, and
No, I don't really
no. I know what you're
wasting my
saying.
time.
I know,
Yeah.
I know. But like another easier way of saying that is just saying, hey man, I just want to make sure that you have the best search experience. And if the right property comes out for you, I want to make sure that you get it. It's
Yeah.
about like, if you say things more of like helping them on their search, they're gonna like that even more, and the relationship's gonna be deeper. I'm not saying that you use that line. I'm just saying,
Mhm.
you just want to be soft in the approach that you do it and say it like, pretty easily that, it's super easy, I don't know if
Mhm.
that makes
Yeah.
sense. I'm just speaking in
Yeah.
Nick.
No, that does make sense.
But yeah, like
Yeah.
and I think that that's pretty much it. I think the hard part is making sure that when you're doing the call, so that's the intro, right? So we just did the intro, now the question and like figuring out their search criteria. But the next part of that is like now knowing your script of like, okay, like the next part, do you just have to sell before you buy or do you just have to buy, right? Uh,
Hmm.
okay, perfect. You have to sell and buy, no problem. Are you currently already working with a mortgage agent? Do you know what you're already pre-approved for?
Hmm.
Right? Oh, no, I don't, or maybe I do. Okay, well, hey, by the way, if you haven't, the mortgage agent's gonna ask you, how much do you think your house is worth? Because that's gonna help you in your real estate equation. What's your real estate equation? How much your house can sell, and what does that leave you to buy? Everything I
Right.
sound is like it's the same stuff over and over again, right? But it's
Yep.
the guidance, right? So
Yeah.
it's more just figuring that out for them, and you're gonna need to know how much your house is gonna worth in order to find your true pre-approval. So we're gonna have to do this step anyways. So are you available, right? You don't even
Right.
have to go into that before like asking about that. I always like after their search criteria, I always like to ask, so have you been pre-approved? Right?
Hmm.
Have you talked to a bank? Do you know the difference between, what an A lender to a private banker is? Do you know what an AB and private banking is? I'm actually educating the whole step of the way. So I feel like with my calls, that like people like, wow, like I just got like I didn't even realize I was gonna get that call today. And wow, that call gave me so much clarity. And now I really know who I'm working with. So
Right.
it's just
Right.
like, once you know where that is, explaining things, what's the difference? Okay, cool. Well, let's get you connected with our in-house mortgage advisor, right? He's a mortgage broker, so he has 60 plus lenders. He'll be able to get you the best competitive rate with the highest purchase price.
Hmm.
So, and go from there. And then curious, do you also need to sell, right? Like it's just going through there, right? And then also, if they say no, they don't really want anyone, make sure that even if they do or don't, make sure that you're adding people to the nosy neighbor list.
Right.
That's a
And I have been using that as much as I probably should be.
Yeah, good.
Um, yeah, for
Because you're
sure.
top of mind for listings. So when a listing comes out or whichever, like
Hmm.
they'll just message me like, "Hey Nick, I'm ready. Come to my house
Right.
side, right?" So get the process started. So these are all great ways to do it. And the best ways is you can see what they're looking for. So it really helps you.
Right. Yeah. No.
Honestly, yeah, honestly, Jeanette, like really just call whenever. I find day calls are better, to be honest. I find that night calls, everyone's just like not about it. Not everyone.
Really? Because I really find that when I call during the day, I don't get a lot of response. I get more response in the evenings around 6 or 7 o'clock at night.
Yeah, so I mean, everyone's leads are different because everyone, we're all getting leads that all have different work schedules and whichever. I
Right.
find for my leads right now, like the daytime right now has been great for us.
Oh,
And
okay.
that's like, 10, 11, 1 to 5. I feel like, those have been working. But really, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Just call, right? Build the
Mhm.
consistency of prospecting.
Yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
No,
You know,
awesome.
yeah. Well, great job, Kevin. Does anyone else
Thank
want to
you.
come up here and, learn more about their scripts or role play or, anything at all? Because I would love to continue helping everyone here. No? Everyone's scared?
No, we got someone of Gianna.
Hey,
Morning.
hey, how are you?
Good, good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thanks for
So,
coming up.
yes, I have a question. So, are you, like, I didn't see on your script that you ask, are you working with a real estate agent? So, are you in the purposely avoiding that questions, or are you just assuming he is not working with real estate agent?
I'm assuming that they're not working with a real estate agent. That question I ask more specifically as it comes down to going to see the property. Because
Okay.
sometimes when you're calling leads, they're going to tell you that they're working with an agent. Like, I mean, I have,
Mm,
right?
Yeah.
The ones that, that the ones that you should be concerned of, I find, are the ones that you haven't maybe connected with yet and they want to book a showing for a property and they're really responsive for that. So before I do anything, I always, ask, okay, do you want to see anything else? No problem. Let me see if this property is still available, and then I'll call you so we can book an appointment. I want to call them because I need to talk to them over the phone, right? You don't want to go back and forth via text message, right? And the value and for them to answer is to book this appointment, which is their highest motivation at this point. Remember, when there's someone at the highest motivation, that's when you have the best chances of getting whatever you need to get done, right? So, at this point, I want to get them over the phone. I want a conversation with them, and the conversation is going to look like, hey, thanks for reaching out. Yes, this property is available. Here's a little bit more about it. I always say like it's built in whatever, 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 right? And then I just want to say, so just before we book, just so I'm not stepping on anyone's toes, are you currently working with another agent?
Hmm. Okay.
And if
Thank
they
you.
if
Thank
they
you.
say no, I say, okay, so you haven't signed anything with anybody.
Mhm.
Are you sure? Okay, no problem. If they said like, well, I am working with someone. Okay, well, thanks for letting me know. Curious, do you have anything signed with them, or would you consider a second opinion?
Mhm.
That's it.
Okay. Okay, and the next question is, okay, so they're not working with realtor, you take them for showing first one. At which point of relationship with client you actually sit down or send them paperwork to sign buyer agreement?
Yeah.
Uh,
So I feel like there's a few different a few different ways to tackle this, and I feel like this is a great question. I feel like number one, the way that I work is implied relationship, meaning like if they're calling me, they're answering my phone calls, they're connecting with me, they want to see properties, they want to do this, they want to do that, and they're giving me no signals, even when I'm seeing them about their having an agent or anything like that, because there's going to be signals, right? Like things are, you're going to notice things, right? Um, that's called implied relationship. So they're already working with me. So my goal is I'm going to get them to find a property and get them to write an offer so I have them on a BRA and find the next property for them, right? Hopefully that's the one. Usually I'm pretty much a one and done agent, where I write one offer and we get it done, but sometimes it doesn't happen like that all the time. So the other thing is too is like the reason why you do it that way is if I say I trust you, right? I trust you, we're good, don't worry, I'm going to use you, I trust you. If you're the agent that says, okay, no problem, you trust me, let's put it on paper, sign it, that kind of hurts the relationship,
yeah, yes, yeah.
right? So, and in real estate, everything is relationship based. So, the only time where I'm doing this is, hey, if I hear on that conversation where, are you working with an agent? It sounds sketchy. Like, maybe they're saying, I know, yeah, like I know someone, but I don't know if I'd use them, or, something weird like that, or even like, yeah, I am, or whichever. You just want to weed them out and know where they are. And if I hear that, I'm getting them to sign a BRA. So this is what the script looks like. So, hey, I understand you want to book this property, no problem, but it sounds like you may have some commitments with someone else, whether it's written or not. It sounds like you may have someone. So obviously I've been in this business for a long time that, I've gone through and see property properties and took the time and worked hard, in your best interest to get you into the property, give you the information. And sometimes people write offers with someone else, cousins, whatever, it doesn't matter, right? So the way that I work is if you want me to show that property and you want my expertise and you want me to lead you to greatness, how I work is that, I would need something signed with you. And what this basically says is that whatever property I showcase to you, you're working with me on that. So this is kind of like a test run. So if you don't like me or I don't like you, guess what? If that property is not for you, we're not working together. But I have a good feeling that we're a great team together. So, I would like to see this succeed, but this is how you work with me. So, all I need is a driver's license and I can send you it and we'll be 30 days on the property that we see. And hopefully as, we get to know each other, we're going to make this exclusive and we'll find you the right house.
Okay, but most of the time, like I do as well, but I was just get the comments from my colleagues, not right. So I send a buyer representation agreement along with the offer to be signed on the property. Yeah?
No, I wouldn't be doing that.
Yeah. Like you sign buyer
I
representation.
just signed working with a realtor and BRA agreement.
Okay. Okay.
There's no offer to write, right? But
Yeah.
like when you find the property and they want to write the offer, then you're sending all the content, right? Like like working with a realtor, BRA, offer document. I applied the MLS listing. That's just what I do. Your APS, your CCR, your Schedule B and whatever supporting documents.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, cool. No problem. Great questions. Does anyone else want to come up here? Any other questions? Anything at all? No? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a little bit of my calls that I just had actually yesterday. This one was a really good conversation. So I think this one would be a good one to hear. So let me I might just skim through the calls in some points. Sorry, I just got to share sound. Share sound. Okay.
Haley?
Hey, Anthony, how are you?
Good, good.
That's good. It's actually just Nick Moretti giving you a call. How's your day going so far?
Good.
Yeah, you living the dream too?
Yeah, I guess so.
That's good, man.
Let's hope this is part of the dream.
Yeah, right. I hear you on that. Just quick question, Anthony. So anyways, my name's Nick. I just wanted to reach out to you just to thank you actually for using our website just to kind of browse homes on MorettiRealEstate.com. Just want to let you know, hey man, I understand that you're just in that information stage and just looking, but I wanted to reach out because sometimes when you set up your criteria, you might not actually set up your criteria, the correct way in terms of what you're actually looking for. So I was more calling as a courtesy call just to make sure that you were looking at homes in like Durham and Clarington. Is there any specific areas you were thinking of to just casually browse?
Yeah, Durham, Clarington, Newcastle.
Okay, so when you say Durham, like, are you okay with like, anywhere from Pickering all the way to Clarington, like Newcastle, or?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the sort of the.
See, and this is what I'm talking about. Like, I know when we're scripting, we're always worried about like the other stuff that we're talking about, but look, in a minute and 24 seconds, now he's going to tell me everything. But it's because of the scripting and the way that I've handled the conversation that when I start asking questions, he's going to just open up to me now. So now I'm going to have to listen and really hear out what he's saying and solve whatever's coming out.
I wanted to max out at 700.
Makes sense.
So,
Makes sense.
But the thing is that I don't think I'm going to find very much that is nice in the Pickering, Ajax, Whitby.
Yeah.
Maybe Oshawa, maybe Bowmanville, maybe Newcastle, maybe Curtis.
Yeah. Great question. Can I give you some more like information just to help you out? Because I think you're on the right track. So basically, ever since after COVID, like before COVID, everyone before, anything that was closest to the city would sell more. So for example, Pickering would sell higher than Ajax, Whitby, so on, so on. After COVID, since everything jacked up prices and mortgages were super expensive and all that stuff, buyers started buying community-based. So right now, you're actually, to answer your question, to get something under 7, Pickering, Ajax, would be harder to do because their average prices are in the 9s. Whitby actually for the last 5 months, and I'm sure that you probably viewed or started seeing, Whitby's price points actually started falling pretty aggressively. So Whitby, you can
Oh.
find some really, yeah. So you can actually find some good opportunities, and it obviously depends on what you're looking for specifically. But Whitby's have fallen in price, so you now can see a lot more affordability compared to what it used to be. Because Whitby used to be over $1,050,000 just 6 months ago, right? So it's really fallen. Then you get to Oshawa, where Oshawa has a lot of inventory, so you start seeing a lot of good price points. And then you have Clarington, where it's old city charm with new construction that keeps the prices up. So in Clarington, like Bowmanville, Newcastle.
Do you see how I'm educating and how like my call is like 100 times different than most of these agents? Like, now he's learning, he's engaged, he wants to understand. And if you heard from the beginning, I asked permission if I can go forward with it, right? I said, hey, if you don't mind me, if you don't mind me, I can explain it as long as you want me to, right? And he's like, yeah. So now he's gonna let me explain myself because you don't want to go talking like this, or they're gonna like not listen, right?
Curtis, you could probably find something under 7 or just in between 7 in Bowmanville, Newcastle. Because from Curtis to Bowmanville, you get about a 10K to 15K price adjustment. And then for Bowmanville to Newcastle, you get about the same.
Okay.
So you find some opportunities there. But are you, like, what type of product are you looking for? Are you only looking for detached, or are you looking for semi, townhomes?
So it's actually my parents that want to buy.
See, now the real shit comes out, right?
So I'm just helping them out because they're not going to do all this part that we're doing.
Of course, man. This is hard. My parents are Italian and they're old, so like, not saying your parents are by any means.
No, they're old.
For mine. So like I understand how hard. Like my mom's not going to just open up, Realtor.ca and start looking, right? So I get that.
Yeah. So I think what they wouldn't mind doing is having some sort of basement apartment that they could rent out to just generate some revenue as well.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So if that's if that's not possible, it's not a deal breaker, but if that was there, they would absolutely look at that.
Yeah. So I'm assuming like they're probably looking between, obviously as cheap as possible, but probably between 650 to 725-ish. Is that right?
I think we're going to max out at 7, period.
Okay, no problem. So obviously, like looking for a basement apartment, like that won't be in our range, unfortunately, unless the house needs a lot of cosmetic.
And this is why it's important to know your real estate like numbers. Like if anyone didn't study the market like I have or being as in touch, you're not going to say the stuff that I'm saying. So, and this is the thing, when someone comes onto your website, they're not coming onto yours, they're coming onto like 2 or 3 or 4 other people. So then the game's on. It's like the Hunger Games, right? It's like who's going to close them the fastest. And most of your competition, they're not going to really have a script. They're not going to really understand how to make the phone call. So if you can come in as a professional and as like, leading with, helping people, like, look, I'm already 4 minutes in this call and like it's locked down, and I was on the call with him for 23 minutes. So I'm going to play a few more stuff, but I'd love to talk a little bit more about my calls and that stuff.
Work, which you're still spending a lot more anyways.
Right.
So you won't find really anything like that, like a basement apartment ready to go under 7. Those are kind of looking between 8 to about $1 million, depending on obviously finishes, home and all that kind of stuff. But under 7, what you can find is you probably find like a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, or a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home. Bowmanville, you can find some stuff. Newcastle, you may find a little bit. Oshawa, definitely you can find some for sure. Whitby, possibly, but it just, depending on what it is. A lot of properties now, since we're in the lower point of inventory, this is where you're going to start seeing a little bit more holding offers. So super attractive.
You see how much like value I'm giving in education though? And like, if you're a person that's just a random person and you're having a conversation with someone that just randomly called you, and this is the level of conversation, like this is where you want to be at, because when you're at this level, like it's locked, right? And that's all you want to do. You want to connect with them, figure out their problems, or give them a solution, update their list, and like just keep following up and keep building that relationship, right?
Price point at $599, $699, but they're holding until a Monday or Tuesday, right? So you're going to start seeing more of that. But the good news, Anthony, is that there's more inventory coming out weekly. So the spring market is coming out sooner than we anticipate. From what I'm seeing, like for example, it's only Tuesday, but so far Clarington already has 3 new listings. Oshawa has 9, Whitby has 7, Ajax has 7, Pickering has 9. So generally, when we're looking at the most inventory, like the most time that inventory comes out through the week. They come out between Wednesday and Friday. That's the most you're going to see. So you're going to start seeing a lot more weekly, right? Which is good. So what I can do is I can brush up the list for you, just so you can showcase, so I can showcase what's available, and I can also send you a hand-picked list, if that's okay, of homes that could be in the right fit. And then if you see anything you guys like, I'd be more than happy to help you, get you to the info, or maybe meet you and showcase the property to you and your parents if you guys.
You see how I'm giving direction and telling them what the next step looks like? I'm not just like leaving it off. I'm giving them direction of like, okay, this is what the next step is.
Are open to that.
Yeah. So how long have you been doing work in this area in the Durham region?
Great question, Anthony. So I've been actually doing real estate for 10 years. Locally. I actually started my own brand in COVID. So I used to work on a local team, and then I went, solo. So I've created my own brand about 5 years ago and never looked back. I'm really big. I live in Bowmanville myself. I'm very big into the community. I'm sure in Durham region, but also in Bowmanville. I'm actually, the Bowmanville Hospital actually hired us as being as influencers because we have a pretty big following on social media, because especially, real estate is all on social media too. So, we do all of that as well. So, we're pretty heavily invested in terms of, being local in Durham region, specifically more Clarington, but we do tons of business. A little bit about me, I have my own team. So I'm a team leader. I have 2 other agents under me. I have a full-time assistant and a full-time marketing person, like social media marketing. Last year we did about 61 transactions, which is, amazing. And I work with Keller Williams, which is a big brand. I was ranked number 9 last year in Canada in both business and in units. So how many sales? So if you're looking for someone who's going to be a bulldog for you and find you the right deal and negotiate like an Italian, bro, I got you. This is me.
Okay, sounds good.
So do you see and this is the question I train my team members all the time because they don't think they're going to get caught with that question. So how long have you been in business? Basically, they're saying, why should we work with you? Do you know how to answer that question flawlessly? Because that's basically what he's doing, right? And, people are always going to ask these type of questions. They're going to say it in a different way, but they're basically saying like, hey, why should we work with you?
So, something else I was going to ask you. Someone from Remax had said to me that they have the ability to show, to disclose properties.
Hey guys, this is good for everyone listening. So you need to really listen or write this down. Okay.
Haven't even been listed yet.
I have the same opportunity as well too.
You do?
I actually have some of my own pocket listings.
Okay.
So maybe
I see,
this
but
might be a fit for you. But yeah.
Yeah, but that's sort of, that's localized or specific to you and what you'd be listing. What Remax obviously is a much larger company, and therefore they would have a much larger list of what hasn't been listed yet.
Yeah,
correct?
Honestly, so yes and no, and I'll explain a few things. So
Okay.
so as a top agent, like for ourselves, we have a few tools that can showcase what listings are coming out from any brokerage, okay, and listings that are in our Keller Williams brokerage. So a little bit to let you know too, my brokerage is owned by a person that owns the Durham one, they own the Toronto one, and they own the Barrie one. So we have a very big reach in terms of top agents, because obviously, Remax has the brand, but it's been there for a while. So a lot of people naturally go to Remax, but Remax doesn't necessarily mean that they're the best and set all in terms of properties and what they have available, because every brokerage has their own, and they're independently operated and owned, right? So for us, since our owner owns a bunch of KWs or Keller Williams, around Ontario, we get a little bit more further reach in that. That's number one. Number two, I also have a tool of any listings that are going to come up per se onto the market. I will have access to it if they put it on, the top performer, app, you can call it. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
If I tell them what the app is, they don't care, right? So you're just trying to make this digestible and easy to explain.
So you're saying your list would be comparable to whatever Remax would have.
That and some. Yes.
Okay.
And some more opportunities. And yes, pocket listings would be something that I have myself personally, or my team. But yeah, we have access to that, what's coming out to the market, and other big brands as well. Remax, Royal LePage, Keller Williams, those things, Century 21 and those stuff. So I have access to those as well.
Okay.
So that definitely gives you more opportunity there.
Right. Okay. I guess that's it for now. And what's your name again, sir?
Yeah, my name's Nick Moretti. What I'll do is I'll send you my social media. Like I'll just send you, a little bit about me. Take a look at our social media link. Basically, that gives us a little bit. I'm sure that you've probably seen me in and around the area. We do tons of listings. Last year we did about, I think, 40 listings. So we do a lot of marketing, not just on MLS. We also do it on social media. So I'm sure that you probably come across our lifestyle videos where we show how to live in the house, or you probably come across our properties, since I've been doing business, because we do tons of business here.
Okay, good stuff.
Why do I say that? I say because I'm letting him know, like, I know what I'm doing. I can handle it. I can get that. I guarantee you 99% of you would fold on that question. That's a really tough question. Why? So Remax, they're a bigger brand. They would have a larger audience. Why would someone at a different brand not, basically? And that's a good question. I didn't even stutter. So, and that was on the fly. So, I mean, it's really important to study objections, being on your toes. As you can see, I was pretty lighthearted the whole time, didn't take anything personally, educated, been the teacher in this call, right? So, I mean, it keeps going, but I'll just stop there. But that's just an example of one of my phone calls. I feel that another opportunity before I leave, or before we get to the questions, another opportunity that I feel that a lot of people have been sleeping on is sending text messages or mass texts to prospects. Like I've been actually telling my team they've sent 50 to 100 texts to just older leads, whichever that hasn't connected to them. And I as a team leader always load any of our some of our objections. I always update these. I'm actually updating another batch of them. But basically, like, these are things that I've created that I found that I was messaging them over and over again, and I made this as a clickable. So if I found a few listings, here's everything. I don't have to write everything all the time. So now it just says, hope you're having a great day. Anthony, I have to change it because now that's what he's put. But I realize that you may not be ready to buy a home quite yet. However, I saw a few homes that could be of interest for you based on your criteria. Would you be interested in viewing these listings? So you're doing things just to get people to answer, right? Has your criteria changed? Always a pleasure. Has your criteria changed? I'd be happy to tailor that list for you. Or that's when you're kind of talking with someone, but or how can I help, right? Hey, it's Nick Moretti from Moretti Real Estate. You recently looked at homes on our website to ensure you had an awesome experience. I want to make sure you're able to find the homes during your search. How can I help you? Just like things like this, because people actually been biting back, and we actually got now we have a buyer that's looking at 10 acres in Uxbridge and Stouffville. So you just don't know. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope that you guys are learning lots from this, but I'd love to see if you have any questions, anything you loved about, our coaching session, and what you're feeling.
Do any of you guys that are watching find yourself having lengthy conversations, or do you find that you get to a certain part in the call where you tend to just kind of jump off the call because it's the safest route to go?
I know I was like that at the beginning.
You can speak, Virginia. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right. You just have to unmute yourself. Yeah, so Dura, this is always recorded. You will be able to find it on our YouTube channel, or not YouTube, well, YouTube and Vimeo. But I'll also send you a link in the chat here that gives you access to all of our recordings. Okay, so if you miss a webinar at any point, you can go back and basically go through the library of replays if the page decides to open for me. There we go.
May I ask questions?
There we are.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, thank you. I just would like to ask, in a conversation with client, you is obviously, market so perfect. I would like to know what is your routine to study market, like on a daily basis or only weekly basis?
Um, So to answer your question, and it's funny because I just got a agent locator lead that just hit me up saying we're looking at a tiny township. Are you there? Is there any you can send to us? So that's what it goes to say about conversation, right? And how people respond back to you if you get them the right search. But to answer your question, um, you have to study the market, right? Like so every day before I get up, I like while I'm having my matcha or Spro or whatever I'm having. I'm looking at the market. I'm seeing what happens. Like, I think it's really important that, in the area that you work in, I'll show you guys, you guys should have a hot list. So when you log into Treb, sorry, give me 1 second. When you log into Treb, it's very important to do one of two things. Always look at what comes out in the morning. And at the end of the day, see what sells. So I have hot sheets over here. So I know where things are in my community that I work with. So I see what's coming out every day. So it tells me how many new listings, what sold, what got suspended, whichever, right? So this is super important to do. And especially as a newer agent, this is how you learn, right? Remember, when you have downtime, it doesn't mean that you don't work on your business. It means that on your downtime, you're doing the things that you can't do while you're just go, go, go mode. And that's like doing listings, appointments, showings, offers. You need to just, on your downtime, you need to work on the business, whether that's mental, where you're learning more about the market and educating yourself, or, you're connecting with other top agents and you're, understanding where the market is, right? Like that's how you learn. And over time, like I've been doing this for 10 years. If I don't sound like this is easy, then there's a problem. You know what I mean? So, you will get there, you will sound, as you need to be, but it just takes time and it just like you gotta want to do this. You gotta look at what's happening and everything is changing daily. So I challenge people to really look at what's happening in their marketplace daily.
Thank you.
Yeah,
And
no,
I'm going to assume this wasn't an overnight thing for Nick. This is,
yeah, years.
it's years in the making of really watching it, not just like the market activity, but any, related articles that may be associated with such, so that you are positioned as the local expert and can communicate with the leads confidently to build that trust.
Yes.
Right, but
So
it's
that's
finding the time to do all that, right? So, and a lot of us have it. So we have to be working on our business in order to be working in our business, right? And if we're not in front of people, we should be spending, full-time hours essentially working on
on the support
ourselves
stuff.
and everything else, right? Social media, your websites, lead follow-up, door knocking, whatever it is, we should be working on those things if we don't have any current business. I mean,
Yeah,
that's where I feel like, especially in 2025, where a lot of individuals struggled, it was those that continued to push
relentless.
through and work every single day, because as we all know, transactions were happening, right?
Yeah,
A lot of people just weren't getting those transactions because it wasn't easy. It wasn't just falling onto their laps like we've seen in previous years.
100%. 100%. So I totally agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
But like this goes to show if you've come to class and I'm reading the comments and you guys are far too kind. I'm glad that you guys are seeing value from this. But I think goes to show you that like if you're not prepared, there's going to be another agent who will be and will get that lead and will get that paycheck. Remember, like each lead, depending on your marketplace, is anywhere between 10 to 25, maybe even 40 grand. Like
Mm-hmm.
if you need to get motivated, a few things that I do at first, because like we all have cell phones, we all get busy. If you really, really want to accelerate your business, get a digital timer. Put this for, I don't even know how to use this. Put this for 15 minutes. Okay. I clearly don't know how to use this anymore, but put this for 15 or 30 minutes and don't get off task. Put this in front of your computer, see the timer, and work diligently, for until that timer goes off, and then you have your break for 5-10 minutes, and you just do the same thing again. Right? This is really good because especially if you find that you have a hard time, really concentrating and getting through these calls, these are great ways of doing it.
It's very tip. It's
Yeah.
like micro times, right? Rather than looking at everything as one big chunk of time, you're kind of breaking it down into segments to really it's kind of like working against the clock rather than it looking at it's like 5 hours, let's say I'm hypothetically speaking, it's broken down into, several, smaller segments to make it more feasible.
100%. So I feel that, there's a lot of great things that I feel that, a lot of people can learn, but I think the biggest aha moment here should be scripting, and it should be like, what are you doing with calls? If you get an objection, how are you going to handle it, right? You got to handle it with like stride and with confidence and, not sounding aggressive in any way. I know being Italian, that's hard for me, but, I've tried to tone that down. But yeah, I mean, you can do this. There's a lot of money that can be made out here in Agent Locator. You just have to prospect, and prospecting is a hard thing because you're going to do it on days that you don't want to do it. You're going to fight yourself. But remember, how I always tell myself is like there could be way harder things that I need to do for money, meaning to work, right? Like I could be on a construction site. I could be, which there's nothing wrong with these things, but all we have to do is pick up the phone and have conversations. Like, I mean,
self accountability.
you know,
it's
so
easier for some than others. So picking up and having those conversations for sure. But we only
yeah,
get better by doing it.
exactly.
Right? We only get better by doing it.
Exactly. But I just want to thank everyone for coming here. If anyone doesn't have any other questions, then I guess we can log off for the day. But my word of wisdom is just keeping relentless and just keep calling. And if it's a no, if they don't answer, it means a not yet. It's not a no.
And even if they say they're, just browsing, there's still intent in many cases. So it's not taking that as we're not interested. It's just perhaps not now,
Exactly.
right? So don't shut the doors on yourselves.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Nick. This was a great session. I did post a tracker in the Sista or in the chat for anyone who wants to kind of with Nick's advice, but have a little bit of accountability tracker so that you set daily goals, so micro goals of what you want to be achieving so you can stay on top of everything, whether it's prospecting, research, health, whatever it might be.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, you guys are the best.
Right.
Have a great day. If you have any questions, just follow me on Instagram. All right.
You betcha. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.